All right, let's get right into this. This is not a review. First of all, let's back up. This is not a review. I know you're like 2 seconds into the video, but this is not a review, right? Because I'm not going into detail about X, Y, and Z. I'm just going to give you a different perspective on a product for ARs. That product is, let's see if this zooms in or whatever, focuses. All right, so this is the Timney trigger, Timney Impact AR style trigger. With the curved bow. I bought this trigger 3 or 4 years ago. I believe when they came out. I bought it a while ago from Primary Arms. Like I said, I had it in the bin of different parts or whatnot, and I was waiting for a build to come along, and then I started something, and I was like, you know what? I actually have a trigger somewhere. I found it. It was still in the plastic, kind of in the packaging. I was like, oh, well, it's good to go, right? It's a Timney trigger. Main reason why I bought this trigger, one, was off of brand recognition. Timney Triggers, right? That's the name of the company. That's that's literally what's on the trigger, right? And I know that they build good competition style products. I know that they build good hunting style products for their Remington 700 chassis. It's a known company, and that's what they do. They build triggers. The second reason I bought it, I believe it was on sale back then. I don't know what the price was, but I want to say I probably paid around 100 for it. MSRP for this trigger is $149 on the websites right now. On Timney's website is $149, but I know you can pick them up from Primary Arms, from like Big Tex Ordnance. I don't know all the companies. I want to say I saw it at Primary Arms for like $89 or something. So it's a good option. That's the main reason why we buy stuff, is if you know specifically what it is that you want. You want to build the Gucci AR, you want to build, the high tier 1, run and gun, slick stuff, whatever. You want to put the top line components in there. And then also you have a kind of a budget, right, tier. And that budget tier is based off of value. I thought I was getting a good product with it, and spoiler alert, I'm going to detail what went wrong with this trigger in my experience. And this is a one of one. I am not any way, shape, or form dogging the company, belittling the company, or saying that the company's trash, because I'm not. This is just a one of one experience, and I'm giving you a different perspective. I had 3 issues with it. It was binding up my safety. It almost made the safety feel like it was a short throw, 45 degree or 60 degree. It wasn't. It was a non-ambi ergo 90 degree throw safety, and it just was binding it up. It almost made it stop at 45 degrees. And then I had to give it a little more pressure, and then it would kind of flick up to the fire 90 degree position. I was like, you know what? Let me try a different safety. I tried a Battle Arms Development ambi, same thing. I tried Seekins Precision ambi, same thing. And I'm like, it can't be 3 different safeties. So then I thought that maybe it was the lower receiver, maybe the geometry of the lower receiver, or the set screws that are in here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll probably put some pictures in. Maybe it's the set screws right in here that snug up the cassette inside of the lower receiver. So I backed those off a little bit, set the trigger down, not even like a quarter turn, just to make sure that they just didn't fall out. Kind of set the trigger in there. Same thing, same issue. It kept binding up. So I went to the forums. I went to Reddit. I went to, I think it was like ar15.com, some other stuff. And some people did have that issue. They talked about how gritty their safety was. So the interaction between the trigger itself and the safety, that was issue number 1 during the installation process. Issue number 2, took it to the range. I was excited. Took it to the range, to get some shots off. I do have some footage of that. So coming back from that footage, you can see I wasn't double tapping. I mean, I was, because I was trying to see how fast the trigger was. When you slow it down and you look at it, one trigger pull is sending around, it's actuating, sending around, the hammer's coming forward, boom, the trigger's reset. I'm off the trigger just a little bit to reset it, and then another shot is going. I'll probably put it in there again, slow motion or something, but you'll see the trigger itself. I'm kind of double tapping, so I'm messing it up. But I will say it's letting off 2 rounds, right, on a single pull, essentially. So that was the second issue. Obviously, that's a safety concern. That could be a one of one. I mean, I'm not saying every trigger is like that, but in my experience with this trigger, that is what happened. Obviously, we can't have that happen. So I know that it was a failure with the trigger. The third thing is the build quality. Now, I want to say this is S7 tool steel, which is supposed to be good stuff. With a little bit of the billet construction in the housing, it kind of feels cheap. I mean, I think it's because of the width of the trigger itself. We'll put that in there. The width of the trigger itself, and then the texture is really smooth. So my expectation was to have a solidly built trigger that just had a clean, crisp break. That was it. That was my only expectation. The trigger itself, it feels cheap. Like I said, it's smooth. There's no texture to it. You know, it's kind of this semi-straight, semi-curved, you know, design. I mean, some people may like that. You know, maybe it's more for competition. Maybe it's just whatever it is. It didn't meet my expectation. The trigger pull itself, though, it felt like a single stage, about 3.5. So that was good, right? I'm not dogging the trigger. I'm not dogging the company at all. Felt good. It was crisp, but you had the trigger malfunction. And I guess my expectation, number 3 is kind of like, you know, it's really subjective. I was thinking of something a little bit thicker, wider, more substantial, a little bit more robust feeling. This just wasn't it. You know, and I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. It just didn't meet my expectations, right? So you have those 3 negatives there with the trigger. Positive, though, value. And if it's $159 or $149, I should say, on the manufacturer's website, and you're picking this up for about 80, 90 bucks, right? You feel good about your purchase. You know, that's a good value. You know, the other thing with this is that it is a step or is an entry into a widely recognizable brand, Timney triggers. I mean, I believe a lot of people have heard about them. They've been around for a while, right? They make good stuff. So, you know, this is an entry into that brand. However, I know I said there's only 3 cons. However, at $80 or $90, especially right now, there's a myriad of triggers all throughout this industry that you can probably choose from for under $100. This fruit roll look good. I'm not going to name all of them. I know you guys know a lot of them. But right now, the LaRue MBT, it's a 2-stage. I mean, so there's a little bit of a difference there. This feels like a single stage at 3.5 pounds. I swear this is what it feels like. I probably should have the trigger gauge on it, but it's broken to me. So why would I do that? I don't want to give you inaccurate numbers or inaccurate readings. You have the LaRue MBT around the same price. You have Rock River Arms National Match. You have JP Industries. You have Rise Armament, Rave 140. You have James Madison. I mean, I thought he was a president, but I guess he makes triggers too. I mean, you have all kind of stuff right now for under $100. So would I recommend this to somebody? Oh man, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. In my experience, even if it worked 100%, I mean, trigger pulls is subjective. So entry into a good brand, S7 tool steel, billet aluminum construction, cassette style, easy installation if it works, crisp 3-pound trigger pull. You know what? That's your answer right there. I can't definitively say yes. So I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard. It's really hard. It's a subjective thing, but you know, if you have 80 or 90 bucks laying around, I mean, you might want to check it out. You know, if it's bad, if it's not meeting your standards, return it. You know, right? I have not contacted Timney yet, but I will, just for the fact that I'm making this video. I want to give them a chance to rectify it. I threw it away. I literally got back, took it out, and threw it away, and then I got it out of the trash and was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna do that. I'm gonna set it aside. I'm gonna make a video. I'm just gonna make sure that it's out there. This is my perspective. And I just want to give everybody information on it. So, you know, I'll call Timney and kind of see, you know, if they can make this right. If they can't, no harm, no foul. You know, I'm not made of money or anything, but I mean, it's just one of those things, right? With this industry, you know, you buy stuff for your AR, 1 minute you like it, and the next minute you're taking it off and it goes into your box of goods, right? So I don't know. But I will update you guys once I contact them, tell you how the customer service went, you know, tell you kind of what their explanation was, tell you if they, you know, if they're going to replace it, if they're going to have me send it in, if they're going to look at it, whatever it is, I don't know yet. When we cross that road, I'll update you guys on that. But, you know, I just want to thank you guys for spending a couple minutes with me, just kind of hearing me talk about my experience and my perspective on this trigger. I'll probably do some more stuff in the future, but, you know, hang around. If you guys have any comments, any questions about it, just hit me up in the comments section below, and then we'll go from there. I'll respond to everybody as much as I can. And then we'll just We'll plug away at just making content, and 100%. I have no issues with Timney. I have no issues with Timney. Let me put that out there. No issues against this company. I'm just telling you, this is a one of one, my perspective, and then we'll go from there. We'll see if they're gonna fix it. If they're not, hey man, I'm still not gonna dog the brand or anything. I know they put out exceptional stuff. Like I said, this is probably just a one of one, but I'm also not gonna necessarily recommend this trigger. For that amount of money, man, I think you could save your money and just go with something else in their line. I mean, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. If you guys have this, comment, share your stories with it, and then we'll just go from there. All right, guys.